Nita, you look all pretty in your blue, your pink, your tan.
Yeah, yeah. Gulf Shores. Y'all see the sharks in the water?
Oh, I didn't get to see your
There's,
picture.
we saw them when we were down there. Today, there's a video from Jimmy Carter, the guy that's a news TV personality that does news stuff on Facebook. He had one where they were in a feeding frenzy, and that's what they were following bait fish when we were down there. We saw two of them, but these you could see the fins. We couldn't really see the fins. We thought it was a joke. We got out of the water and stuff, and we're laughing. Oh my God.
I'm scared of alligators and sharks.
Oh, we got in the next day. Oh, we got in after that. Everybody's
No
gone.
fear, huh?
You know, just didn't get out very far.
Right. Miss Glenda, if you will, lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey. We got a pretty good crowd here. Thank everybody for coming today to the July meeting of the Calvert City Council, 2023. The meeting minutes from June have been distributed to council members, and I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve as presented.
Second. Got a second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you for that. Now, with that said, we'll skip on down here a little bit of old business. We've had some great times in the community. Blair's been busy. And we have some visitors for council tonight. And so we'll move our pickleball representatives on forward in the schedule. Is there something particular on your mind, Parvin? I think you're the spokesman tonight, aren't you? You usually are.
Claire.
Yeah. Jeff Dunham, this.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can we hear?
Zoom, by the way, so. No, who's on Zoom?
We don't really know.
Well, the world's on Zoom as far as we know.
Forever.
Well, some of you heard we had a little pickleball tournament here about 3 weeks ago, okay? And a lot of us are pretty proud of it. But what we came here tonight for is really thank yous to folks, this group in particular. Kind of want to do what you would call a public forum for it, and the city council meeting seems to me like as good as I could probably do it. That we have council people here in the city of Calvert City. We have YouTube live, and we have YouTube recorded, and we have members of the media here. So I think that's about as good as they can do it. Public. Call a press conference. Nobody else. So I'm gonna start with this group of folks here, the city council, the mayor, also the previous city council members and the previous mayor, Lynn Jones. We're all supportive of us when we started this little effort, Darlene and I and some others back in 2017, as far as approaching the city and much stuff. John Ward was here, was absent, but John was supportive of us. Said we just happened to come in right in the budget cycle. You need to go to the budget meeting for the Parks Board. We went to Narrowman with us and helped us out too. So this group has always been very supportive of us. Okay. And the Parks Board. The other group we want to thank is more for the public here are the sponsors and their workers. We had an unbelievable number. I was surprised at the number of sponsors we had, both directly and indirectly. And of course, in particular, we had CFSB Investments, which support us financially, but they showed up with workers who did cooling towels and cooling armpit coolers. They worked real good and they're very popular. They were a big hit. CATA and their sponsors, and I'm talking about CATA as terms of their sponsors in terms of those that support CATA generally, not just the tournament. I was kind of educated on that. I didn't really realize how that network worked, but that was really great. And CATA showed up to help out too. Some more than they really planned on. They did help out. Community businesses. I was surprised again how many people it was anything from a little bit of water and snacks from one place to bigger things from others, but community businesses I thought really supported a lot of those folks. Some of the Calvert churches showed up to work, manned food stations, snack trays, that sort of thing. I'm talking about they showed up in person work and put in the time. The public in general post tournament has been very supportive. So this really thought it was a great event for the city. It really did. So we appreciate the public for recognizing that it's a good event. And then again, the local media. Lower here in particular self is a bunch along the ways, but the Lake News, Marsh County Trib, Daily, West Kentucky Star over the years have been very supportive of publishing our stories. They're word out about what's going on. Pickleball, which led us to be in a position to have a nice event like we did. And another group are pickleball players. We had a lot of people. We refer to ourselves as Calvert City Pickleball, and the group of us here right now are really Calvert City Pickleball. But when it comes to pickleball, pickleball is a community. We had Benton people, we had Pratt County people, we had Graves County people, we had Calvert County people that came and did their various things to help us put this tournament. Spent lots of time out in the heat of the shade. Us were intense. A lot of the others were out in the sun. But it was a great help and great benefit to us. So we thank those people too. And then lastly, we had a core group of functional specialists that coordinated the tournament. These guys and folks, girls here. Marvin Travis was kind of our ring leader, ringmaster for the tournament run events. Dyke scheduled the court monitors, which was really a success, and a lot of people that came and watched our tournament took that back to their groups to apply. But we made a tournament go so quick, so efficient, more than most people have ever seen. Our MVP here, Chad Winstead, took on a computer program that you just download, or you don't download, just connect to on the internet and say, what do I do next? He ran to ground, working with people back, and where they located out, Jersey? Phoenix. Phoenix, oh, okay, that's closer, right? But tremendous effort on his part. Jenny over here was taking care of the court monitoring a lot, and the court monitors worked really, really hard. I'm talking about all of them, but she took care of the podium arrangements, getting podium pictures made, podium pictures. So we had it posted and go back out to press. Darlene ran a lot of the admin stuff, goodie bags, scheduling workers of all these different workers we're talking about, scheduling them, getting there in place. It was quite an effort. And y'all know Blair, right? Okay, Blair did a few things too. And Wendy's not here. These two, Blair and Wendy, Blair's especially filled in the gap for making the tournament a success from what the rest of us as pickleball players knew to happen from pickleball standpoint. Tents, food trucks, porta pots, all that stuff. We as a group, we would have been kind of lost on doing that. She just was a great asset. Wendy was our bookkeeper, finances, and those aren't quite done yet. We got bills to pay for and wrap those up. And Jason Jones was on our team also from CFSB, who arranged the CFSB investments group, and worked with Wendy and Chad and others on getting all this stuff so it flows nice and neat from a money standpoint. So it's just amazing how many people turned out this event as far as I'm concerned. Extremely pleased with it. So again, we're just here to say thank you. All the folks.
Thank you.
Any questions? Fine, but we'll leave it there.
Well, I spent a little time up there on Sunday, and I think I missed the bad heat on Saturday, but the really bad heat was on Saturday, right? Sunday was worse. Okay, well, I got there early and late, but it looked like a well-lubed machine from where I was sitting. Remind me of clicking them off. So good job. Good job. How many total players did you have? Put you on the spot with some stats.
So 180, 181 individuals. And we had so many single entry players. For this number of events we had to available to play, I would have thought more like 140 would have been a high number, but just a lot of it. Just you have to kind of understand how the tournament operates. But a lot of single entry people. So.
And how many states were represented?
Oh gosh, 6 or 7. Every county, I guess, west of Owensboro, I mean, Davis County was here, we had people from Indiana. All of the western states, except I don't think anybody pulled the boundary. Callaway, Graves, Marshall, Kraken, Livingston, Henderson County, Southern Illinois, what? Oh, yeah, Caldwell, yeah, right, States, Caldwell, yeah, just a lot of people. And these guys, our tournament players here really travel a lot. Player jackets, Tennessee, on the way. I think we might pay. But just people like that.
Good turnout.
Just a strong network.
All right.
In Florida, Michigan. So.
Good
For
to
your
hear.
first tournament, this is impressive.
Just say we're
They
very
worked
pleased.
for it, let me tell you. We started in what, January? Planning it, and every month we met.
That's awesome. Thank you all for your hard work and making us look good.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I guess we can go.
Well, unless you want to stick around for the rest of the agenda, you're welcome to stay. You're welcome to stay. Not trying to run anybody off or anything, or so just. There you go. Go home and get them. You can watch the. All right, thanks.
Just a friendly little game among elderly people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach you how to win.
Yeah.
A survey.
I've already seen all I want to see. It's scary.
It's scary.
Even split between youngsters and older people.
Really, it was. It was.
I'm in the ancient category, but there's a diagram out there, it's like 20% split between 7, 16, 20 some odd. And well, that's my group.
All right, very
Just
good.
go and get last week's paper and look at that lady. I took a picture of it. And that, see if you want to be on that across from her. Just see if you want to be across from her.
You said something about a lawsuit or something.
Well, now, Chief, we didn't have any calls for police up there or anything. Okay, so that's good news.
Thank you.
I'm serious.
All right. Amelioration report? Trying to think of what else we got going on. We had,
It's over. ain't it?
it's over.
About it in my report.
It's over.
I do have a little story that a lady I go to church with told me about. They're up here for the parade and got to talking with a couple that's there beside of them. They were from Austin, Texas. And they came here because they were staying at Penny Ryle State Park and didn't have anything to do.
Just a little hop, skip and a jump over to Calvert City from Penny Ryle.
So they saw what was going on in Calvert, so they came here all the way from Penny Ryle so they could take part in that celebration.
That sounds very good. You gave him one of Scott's cards for next year, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I have just a short one. Marissa and Marco were walking, you know, I'm talking about the Ukraine that lived with us.
Yes.
They were walking toward the park when we came by on our golf cart. And I just want to get it on the record. We gave them a ride and Marco was so excited. He'd never ridden on a golf cart before. And I don't know if he got the message to Lloyd or not, but I told him to go back home and tell Lloyd that he needed to buy him.
There you go. He cruised all over Camelot on the golf cart.
He normally only talks in millions. He's very dollar conscious.
All right. So an important part of Amelioration, I talked to Chief Cannon about something on 4th of July. And I don't mean to jinx us at all, but would you like to share how much activity you had?
And 0. 30 year in a row.
For a crowd that size?
That was a huge crowd. I mean, I think it was bigger than.
This is the biggest crowd I've seen.
In fireworks.
And in the middle of the week.
Yeah, on Tuesday.
Only show in town, so us and Duke are only two.
Yeah, everybody tried to redo the calendar, I guess. So that's good about us. All right, we got some visitors and petitioners out of the way. That didn't sound very good, did it? We got them all on their way, not out of the way, on their way. Pardon me. So Youth Voice Writing Contest winner for this month. You got one?
I do.
You do.
Her name is Brecken. She's a seventh grader at North Marshall Middle School. Her favorite teacher, she said that she didn't really have a favorite teacher, but she had several that she trusted and could tell things to. I thought that was a unique answer. Miss McCoy, Miss Duckworth, and Miss McWilliams. She likes playing soccer and listening to music and drawing. And her article is about the Humane Society of Marshall County, so it'll be in the like news this week.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations. And she's from Calvert City.
And from Calvert City.
Who was it?
Brecken Mathis.
Oh, I know Brecken. Wonderful.
BRECKYN Mathis, MATHS. 11.
Okay.
7.
Okay. Old business. Let's start off with the generator committee. We've been dormant. I gotta get on the stick. It's my fault, but we're gonna have a meeting. We've got some folks together. I think it's gonna make a good team, and we've got to rejuvenate that effort this coming month. Greg, can put you on the spot here. You got a report on noise ordinance. What does it take for us to do the noise ordinance and complete it?
Tell me what to do. Do we want to do one just like them, use the same format and same prohibitions that that Benton has? Does it, do you remember?
It's a jack. Whatever.
The brakes.
Right.
The Jake break,
Yeah, it's Jake break.
the Jake break ordinance.
I know what we were talking about.
So
And we do, the state, the DOT will put the signs up on their,
so
on the highway.
So I'm bringing up, that's old business from, we've had citizens reach out and tell us, and I don't live along the Highway 95 corridor, but it must be pretty loud, and folks have reached out to us as a council. So if you want us to proceed down that path and get busy with that, and so we found out we had a feasibility done. Can you put up signs? Can you do the ordinance? We looked at it, and we evidently can.
Yeah, we can.
So do you want us to get something in front of the council in August on that?
Please.
Yes, please. Sounds like an affirmative, okay?
I'll put it in all caps. Move that to the top of the priorities.
I know,
And do it in the same format and with the same pattern of operation that Benton, that the Benton ordinance is. Do you remember the Benton ordinance? We passed it out. You know, protect it there. It's up to us to identify. I mean, it would be up to us to identify those areas. The ordinance just simply authorizes.
Really, that's all we're doing initially. We're just putting up signs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay.
so the complaint area is that I'm aware of is exclusively 95.
Yes.
Yes,
That's all I'm aware. That's the only one place I've really had fun.
I mean, to go out along the interstate and try to do anything around the traffic ground out there is kind of ridiculous. It's.
Starts about Napa.
Uh-huh.
And about. About where they get, there's a fine noise complaint right there.
Okay,
And I don't know, I haven't had any down here. I don't think they use it. I don't know, it's going this out. Most of it is out here on 95.
I don't hear stuff, I mean, if I do, I don't want to talk about going on Oak Park and Industrial Parkway. I don't,
hear anything.
Most of it,
there's motorcycles.
most of it's when they start slowing down and getting on that, coming down the hill there.
Right,
95,
right.
Like that.
okay, so we'll get something along the Highway 95 corridor as far as putting up signs, but the whole noise ordinance will be throughout the city.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I'll bring it. The ordinance that first reading of next time.
okay. Anybody else have any old business? All right. New business. You want to talk a little bit about economic development? Well, we've had some some reviews with Retail Strategies. So we have an ongoing engagement with them and talking to them about recruitments and different things and attendance to shows. So Blair and we're looking at going to a show. What's the date on that one coming up? You remember the date? August 8th. And so, when you pull into the community, some of the conversations about the tracks out there, a lot of volume numbers and landowners and things. So we're reviewing that consistently, putting Calvert City out there in front of different shows and getting feedback and marketing feedback. One of the things, we talked about last week, we had a citizen come in front of us talking about the dilapidated properties. And when we come into the community, when we say a couple of our more dilapidated properties are ours. Okay, and so I'm going to really focus on trying to move something in that arena as hard as I can push it. Nothing like getting off the interstate and seeing a beautiful place. And we have a couple of properties that are not maintained very well. And it just is not the kind of impression we want to put out there. So we're going to see what we can do about those.
I'm like, I speak with the council that if we can help them, you want to be glad.
I understand. So, there's a lot of this, I guess, could be old business. I drove around town and looked at some of my favorite residences that people love to live next to, and I can see the evidence of brucing up. So Bruce says instead of sprucing up, we have brucing up. So some of the properties that usually are a little bit on the backsliding category as far as just nuisance complaints. It was very visible to me when I drove around taking a stock and inventory of our normal stuff. And of course, there's still more work to do in that category. So that's kind of a report out there. Any other new business? I guess that's going to come over in Blair's. You ready to go do a report, Blair?
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
and I'm not going to bomb on you anymore. I think the calendar, she looked at me when I started mentioning about retail recruitment and she's like, what?
Well, I was just going to talk a little bit about Retail Strategies. We had a meeting with them last week, just kind of follow up over the last 3 years. We've had a contract with them and they have reached out to just over 50 retailers, developers, brokers, getting our name out there, keeping that market exposure at the top of their list. And I think it's been a really great learning experience for me, for sure, but also just having Calvert at the forefront of these retail developers. As Jean said, we're going to go to a training in August, or I plan on going to a training that they're offering to kind of pass the wand on to me to continue doing the retail. And then we'll go to the conference Retail Live, which is in Nashville this year. So I'm excited about that, excited about learning a little bit more about how they do things and how the conferences go. I assume it's kind of like a travel show where you've got about 30 seconds to pitch your city and then they move on to the next one. So I enjoy things like that and I think it'll be really good. Some recommendations they gave to us is that we kind of market our area not as a population of 2,500, but as a trade area. So our trade area is about 53,000 people. If you look, within a 30-minute or 30-mile drive, that's what our trade area is. So looking at that trade area, marketing that trade area, and then also targeting our where we have leakage at. Ironically, the leakage is grocery stores, food and beverage, of course. And then also slipped my mind, restaurants and clothing and accessories and health and personal care. So those are the top 4 places where we're lacking, which makes sense. I think anybody that lives in Calvert knows where you can buy clothes at, unless you're going to Boots and Blues, which works great for some people.
Right.
My husband loves it. Anyway, also to, take a look at our ordinances, make sure that they're business friendly, and really just make sure that the things that we're putting out there is clear and precise, to our potential developers. Also having a conversation with our local landowners and, filling them out, see what they want to do with their property. Do they want to sell it? Do they want to hold on to it? Kind of getting an idea and a feel for that. And also looking at building that local developer here and having people that live here develop here. And encouraging that. And that all comes from a sense of place. When you grow up in a place and you have that feeling of home, it makes you want to develop here. So continue to building that sense of place and encouraging developers to, want to build here, that live here in Calvert. So learned a lot from the last call, and I think that we have a lot to continue to learn, but I think it'll be good for the future and good for Calvert for sure. Also, I had a study done on, not a study, a geofence. So they put like a fence up and around all of our parks, 7 different locations, and to see where people are coming from and how many people are coming. So I targeted all of our parks to see where people are coming from over a year span. So July to July, well, it would have been mid-June. I kind of wanted to do last year's budget year. So unique visits that we had, that means people that probably have only come here once, or it's maybe their demographics are a little bit off. They're not from Calvert, they're not from Benton, Murray. Anyway, we had 15,251 unique visits. Out of those visits, the total visits was 37,691 total visits to our parks. Out of those people that visited, 80.6% had 1 or more children, 19.4% had no children, 50.9% were female, and 49.1% were male. The average user was anywhere between 34 and 54. I thought that was really cool and amazing that many people come. And I'll send you the link so you guys can look at it visually. It has some really great visuals on it. It also has a heat map that shows you where people came from. And I think maybe 300 people were from Florida, which, it's a great place for snowbirds to stop, as they're traveling south through the winter. That's always a good, it's a good halfway point. So anyway, I thought those stats were pretty awesome. And just to see where people are coming from is really cool. So I'll send that out to you so you have it. And then any upcoming events that we've got. July 22nd is the Coasting Through Calvert, and that is through the library. So you can meet at the library, ride your bike, anybody that shows up, anybody. And it is at 10 o'clock. They've been having a great turnout for that, and they just kind of ride for an hour here in Calvert. On August the 5th, we're having Crosstown Throwdown, and it's a disc golf tournament. So we're doing both parks, Doctor's Park and Old Park, Crosstown. Get it? Yeah. Okay. And that is, I'm going to get that posted today, or not today, tomorrow. Listen, I got a new computer today, and I'm one of those people that have things, everything on my computer is in a certain spot. And when I came in today, everything was not where it was supposed to be. So it took me literally all day to get that straightened out, and it's still not done. But anyway, and then August 25th, we're going to do a back to school bash. We're going to bring back that golf cart scavenger hunt that everybody loved. We're going to do some paddle skills day. And then everybody's been asking about the community-wide yard sale. Write this down. It is September 7th through the 9th. I have had so many people ask about that. And anyway, I want to just realize it says pickleball tournament. I didn't change that. Okay, anyway. That's really all I got. So, and the celebration was great. And anybody that helped, thank you.
What's the date on Coasting Through Calvert?
It is July 22nd at 10 o'clock.
And disc golf.
Disc golf is August the 5th. Any questions?
Like I said, if you, but the fireworks, I think were the best we ever had.
They were
There was
great.
no lull, there was nothing.
I agree.
They were awesome.
They were great.
Compensation that advising you on reason. What's the name of the company?
Retail strategies. But I'm not sure.
Brad, you ready for a projects report? Yours is close as I got to John to put on the spot. And the project that I like the most is you got the benches back in top of the splash park in time for the.
Yeah, we got those back in, thanks to Calvert City Industrial Sheet Mill. They worked hard and got us in, and got us prepared. Let's see, the umbrellas, I picked those up today, so hopefully we'll get those in tomorrow. As far as the paving Sixth Avenue should start this week. If Smith doesn't have any breakdowns or anything of that nature. What else have we got going? Of course, made it through the 4th, made it, get everything cleaned back up and.
Guys were hard at it Thursday morning.
Oh, yeah,
They were, did they come out earlier than normal?
no, we started at 6:30 and it took us usually about average half a day for everybody picking up trash and cleaning everything up. So we got all that picked up and everything that was left on Fifth Avenue, of course, was what was run over and mashed into the blacktop. So
Oh, yeah,
it just has to wear off.
gotcha.
Don't throw Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, they kind of mash it 98 degrees. But we're doing some work on Second Avenue. Of course, that's on our list to be paved this year. So we're trying to do some ditching along there. Plan on trying to start on the Hickory Street drainage project, possibly next week. See how everything goes. And then work on some other streets that we plan on paving.
Fun never stops.
Never stops. I think we have, well, everything on the board, I think pretty much wrapped up. We did get the new ramps in at the mountain bike course, which I think you had mentioned that
Mhm.
on Facebook, but
Well, I did a little bit of pasting and copying on Facebook, but yeah, they do a pretty good job of as always, of getting our word out there. So they're neat.
And the teeter totter, I will give advice. Some gentlemen already figured it out. If you're following behind another mountain biker,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You better watch it.
you have to let the teeter totter sit back down before you can. He did.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Wanted us to name it after him.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about it. No. Thank you so much, really. Huh? We have going on here. Y'all have any questions for me?
I have a praise because your guys were awesome. There was only 2 guys that worked in the celebration and that trash was never, I mean, I think Bill said that they went through and dumped like 7 times.
Yeah.
So when you've got 20,000 people in there and they're dumping trash like crazy, and they went around that many times in that short period of time,
They were hustling.
they were hustling. Yeah.
They said it was, they compared the crowd to Ameribrations. They really thought it was more people than the Ameribration.
Then the 150.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, usually I don't have it like maybe one guy come in.
Mhm.
But I had 2 guys come in and they were covered up all day. There was no breaks. It was, they were running.
So they give you a call and say, hey, call somebody in. We need some help.
Well, I just went ahead and I thought, well, we'll go ahead and send 2 guys in just in case.
All right.
Bathrooms look great too.
They
That's the
did.
thing about it is you
Yeah, they done a great
get
job.
that many people going in and out, everything is good.
Anyway.
All right. Thank you, Brad. Airport. We just got to keep you guessing.
We want to make something up.
No, I want you to tell us how great it is. How's Calvert International doing?
I will start by saying how impressed I have been the last couple of times I've been there and how well it's being kept up.
Okay,
The place looks fabulous. Doesn't look great, looks fabulous,
fabulous.
which is better than great, just in case. Kind of the middle of the quiet summer for us planners, and that's all based on the grant cycles and things like that. We've been working with John. We, as in Hanson, has been working with John for quite some time on getting funding leveraged, identified, however you want to say it, for the construction of another hangar. We've been looking at 60 by 60 buildings that would be multi-use facilities. It became apparent recently that the dual plan that we had was a little aggressive. And we're now looking at the development of a single 60 by 60 with the site prepared for an additional 60 by 60 if somebody gets real excited.
What's the magic of a 60 by 60?
The magic is that as a standalone hangar, it suits somebody that owns a King Air, which is the most popular utility next level up aircraft.
Okay,
The other one is it's multi-use, and if, for example, no one single individual wants to come in and invest that kind of lease agreement. It's also very suitable for a community hangar with 4 to 5 single engine aircraft, the sum of which would pay the lease of the building. Right now, we're looking at leveraging the BIL money. For those of you that don't remember, that's the bipartisan infrastructure law. That's we're 2 years into it. The end of the second year will be September 30. Where over the course of 5 years, the airport, the state, as the sponsor of the airport, will receive $690,000. That coupled with the state's 5% match would exceed by approximately $20,000 the cost of a 60 by 60 hangar. So we've had some informal discussions with KDA, the Kentucky Department of Aviation.
thank you.
And those conversations on that topic are going very, very well. There's a couple other topics that we can't get them to move yet, but we're working on that. So hopefully within the next couple of months, I'll have a more positive discussion with you about the wish list of another hangar. But in the meantime, damn good job keeping that place up. It looks great.
All right. If we knew somebody to brag on, we would.
I've already
Maybe, okay,
given it to him. So
all right.
thank you.
Well, thank you.
Law.
Okay, Dan, you ready for water? Water's always busy. There's a lot of stuff going on all the time. Paperwork being signed, projects being completed, maintenance being conducted.
Maintenance being done. and all
Yep.
that. Speaking of maintenance, well, number 2, we took down for cleaning. And the pump was in real bad shape. So Lane took it back with them to their facility to rework it, overhaul it. Cost of about 12,000 roughly. That's to be brought back within the next couple of weeks and installed, and then well, number 2 will be back in service and ready to go. The rest of the wells, as far as I know, are working good. They were set up Tim set up for. Well, 2 out is worked fine. And so,
So the well two work was preventative in nature, right?
Right.
So it wasn't a failure, it was prevent.
uh. Another item. That we had is, we got the KRWA rate study proposal that we talked about. We've implemented that, and the rural water people said that they anticipated that they would begin within the next 90 days, and that was from June the 14th, so it should be sometime in third quarter for this year, fourth quarter of this year. Get started on that rate study, which will take a little bit of time to get that done. Greg, I got an item for you. I assume it goes to you. I don't know who it goes to, but we've got 3 pickup trucks.
I got that from Tim.
Got that from Tim.
I've got to call him right now. I need some more information to do the written foundation.
That are
Tim's called.
sitting over there, just been sitting, they're not being used, so we'd like to get them put on surplus list and get them sold, moved and out of there. So it's a 2001 Ford, 2005 Chevrolet, and a 2007 Ford 350. So we would like to get those taken care of if we could. Whenever it's proper.
We'll get that next month, probably.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Three, okay.
and let's see. Oh, the survey.
The survey.
Tim says it's going very slow. I don't know how slow is or what, but still got that by I think by the end of July, as we probably recall, is when that was supposed to be completed.
Okay.
So, yeah. So,
One of the things, I'm taking the pictures of the pipe that you told, you can take a picture of the water heater pipes coming in, right?
Right.
And that's a lot easier than trying to go outside to do it. And maybe if you got that message out. That would be,
but if they just fill it out and send it in and put need help, then our guys can go. Help.
Yeah, they'll come help complete the survey.
Because a lot of our guys know what's out there anyway, so they can look at the meter and see what kind of pipe goes in the house and so forth. But that's still looming over us.
Since you're standing there, I'll tell you, because it applies to the council also. The legislature, the 2023 legislative session, loosened up some of the procurement regulations greatly to our benefit. First of all, they raised the bidding limit from 30 to 40. But maybe for water and sewer, more importantly, they relieved the bidding requirement when you're purchasing parts. You don't have to bid it. It's parts that are too expensive or too much of a hardship to keep in stock.
Okay.
You can buy parts, pumps, pump parts and such, and never have to worry about bidding. So that's going to make our engineers very happy. It's going to make Tim very happy.
Yeah.
It greatly relieves that whole trying to keep things running process. We can get up to $40,000, takes us a long way down the road. But that's for the city also. It's not just for us. So if we have something that breaks and we need parts quickly, we don't have to bid that stuff anymore. We can go buy it.
So that'd be a part that would be more than 40,000.
Yeah.
Because under that, you wouldn't have to
You
anyway.
wouldn't have to bid anything. But if it's something that goes down and we have it's like a building, you know, if we get a tornado and it tears a wall off a building. You know, you can replace parts now of equipment and structures and whatever without bidding. And that's just, you know, I've been doing this since 1990. That's a big step.
It is.
That's huge.
So we'll make sure we internalize those in our procedures and keep you guys informed of that.
Those
VFDs,
VFDs are now ordered.
Right.
And for the booster station.
this is the big upgrade project. We're updating the VFDs and the HMI down at the water plant. It's a big project.
They're now ordered. Well,
There's a tank or something that had to be, a tank, when they're a tank.
The maintenance that we talked about on the tank,
Yeah, what's that?
we need to think about that at the next board meeting. Make sure that it's, we want to do that, but.
Yeah.
that's-
I thought we had to do it.
well, I mean, there were maintenance recommendations is what it was, and some of them were higher than others.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be more. It's nothing catastrophic right now. It's more. I think one of them was
I thought the tank
one
was
of
a
'em-
little bit serious than
one
that.
of them was more serious than the others.
One, was- there was a ladder.
That was the internal ladder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good
Yeah.
in case somebody.
Yeah.
One of the things. that we need to go back over that and look at. Then the other thing during the meeting, the pad. And coming up next week, I believe it is, and
17th, I think.
Steve's gonna go with him, Steve Freeman's gonna go with him. To give them our knowledge and understanding of what goes on,
You can't run a water department without grants and, making a lot of money in the water business. Everybody understands it. We want everybody to have water. There's a really strong grant programs available, pretty good routine, rigid, and you got to keep your projects there and keep them evergreen. And so when funds get dispersed, they have competitive grant evaluation. That's one of the things that the PAD is very good at, amongst other things. But, looking at the dispensation of funds that makes sense to the region. So they're having their monthly meeting, and I thought I had a piece of mail on it. I think it's the 17th.
I think it may be right. I believe that's what Ken told me.
So we keep the project list, try to keep it up to date, and sometimes it gets away from us. It's recently been updated. 17th at the PAD district in the morning. So we're gonna have representatives there for sure. One of the things talking about grants, this water pipe survey. And I'm not an expert at this, but I have become aware there are some concerns in the community about reporting that. I think the concern is the lead pipes, and if you get your piece of real estate tagged as having a lead pipe, it would be something that you didn't want to do. We've got to be compliant with that, and the survey is the easiest way for the city to be compliant. The city is not old enough to have significant issues with lead pipes. Our community is just not old enough. But in the United States of America, there's communities that have had some very serious, been in the news in the last few years. Flint, Michigan is probably the main hallmark of that. And then there's some others since that time. So they're going out and saying, we want a survey so we can help infrastructure throughout the United States. Well, we need, like every other water system, most every other water system, we need to stay in compliance with those sorts of things. And it builds into the grant structure. I don't fully understand the concerns that homeowners have about getting on a list and being made to change stuff. And I'm not going to say it's unfounded because I simply don't know enough about that concern. But I will tell you, Calvert City overall, there's very few structures around that are going to have any chance of having lead pipes. And most of those that are there, I would dare say, have been reworked since that time. And so it's a very small chance. I mean, the lead pipes, I don't know the timeline. I'm not in the water biz normally, but I mean, we're talking older than the 30s and 40s. I mean, you have to be that age to be doing that sort of thing. So the bulk of Calvert City housing is way after that. You got copper pipes in our houses by and large. And we probably need to get with the press and do a public information release to try to, and on our website to do something to address those concerns. There's other things we can do that the water department could do that would be labor intensive, and go out and sample things and go knock on doors and ask permission to go in houses. The survey by far, hands down, is the easiest, most cost efficient way that we can do it. But we can't just thumb our nose at that federal and state requirement, because that would make it where we couldn't qualify for the grants, which we so much need. And I hope I haven't given out too much misinformation in that. in that situation, because I quite frankly, I really didn't pay a lot of attention to it when it came, because it's one of these things, and that just Calvert City's not got any issues next. And so we're trying to figure out a way to complete this. We really wasn't prepared about the concerns that had been expressed about, being on a list and may do whatever. And I will point out that whenever you sell and transfer property that is a domicile, there will be, especially if there is a mortgage originated in that purchase, you're going to make statements on lead content of the paint and lead content of the pipes. Folks, it's already there. And so there's not a bad actor list. There's not going to be any federal bureau come knock on your door and saying, hey, do this. By and large, the city, I mean, I don't know. I hope I don't have to eat those words. There's going to be zero, very near zero concern in this community over those items. But this is something that we must do to get compliance. I'll look into it more and see if we can make a sensible press release that will address some of the concerns that have been expressed. Okay.
It's pretty much verified what you're saying.
Okay.
All the houses, very thin, and you're very lead and, gee.
So if you got copper in your service lines, you're good to go, and you can complete the survey. And if you need any help, you can call Calvert City Water personnel. We'll go over there, send some over to help you complete the survey and help get you through that process. Okay.
What is the agency that's requiring this, sir?
I'm going to have to get that to you. I'm serious. I'm not well enough for, but we'll get that.
And we're not the only city doing it, cities across.
This text get changed in if you want them, or email it to me with him.
And also, if they get hung up on the photo, like Lloyd said,
Yeah.
they could do a paper copy. Pick up a paper copy here. It's also on the website. You can print it off, fill it out at home. A lot easier to do it that way. If you don't want to fill it all. You
Still have a photo.
don't have to have a photo with the.
Why? Why?
Don't know.
Because.
Because I think that might be a big
I'll
one.
go through it. And give them what if you listen. Bureaucrats created.
Well, it
What-
is.
What happened to me is I was gonna do it all online, and you gotta remember, I got a building, I got a home, I got a good church. And I get down the part, you gotta take a photo.
Right.
That should have been number one, not
Gotcha.
number 10.
Right.
One.
I did the same thing. So
Well, not today.
then I had to figure out how to transfer the picture. I took from my phone.
That I could handle.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know, I think.
I struggled with that too.
Right. We'll get some information to you about
And I'm
the
absolutely-
origin, the law, why we're doing this.
So they did the whole thing.
We replaced all
With
the
picture.
Or of it, you could do it on an
Yeah.
iPad, so you have a larger screen. Have you done yours?
Okay.
basement, it was easy. I just walked
See, that's why I'm like, I have a
Took a
basement,
picture. Yeah,
makes it
Yeah.
easy.
it was all easy. I just couldn't get the picture and the survey together.
Yeah.
I did it.
I took a picture of the top of the water here.
There we go.
You always have to go dig up the line outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when Dan said that about the water heater
Yep.
last time.
That's what I used. That's what I used.
Yeah.
Hope I didn't commit some kind of foul ball by saying that. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Anything else, Dan?
No.
All right. There's some good things moving in Calvert City Water on both the incoming side and the outcoming side. Some of them are still kind of quiet and part of the project's being evaluated. Hopefully we'll make some announcements more on those later. Chief Cannon?
Well, I really don't have a whole lot to report on. Celebration was fine, a lot of people. We did do some stuff during it. We helped motorists and stuff like that. It's actual calls of services or anything where a legal action had to be pursued against somebody. It's zero for the third year in a row. So
That's
it's
good
pretty
news.
impressive for how many people's coming to town. And I commend the city and everyone else who was there to help out and get things straightened up and cleaned up, because it was, I say by noon the next day, it was all picked up. Brad, you guys did a great job. As far as police department, next week we do have an in-service class that's gonna be here, so you're gonna see some other cars from other areas here all week next week. And we are currently looking to fill a vacancy that we have. So we're probably gonna see some stuff out in the newspaper and stuff in the future to fill our spot. We're a little short-handed. And some of our guys are working some different hours right now. So, but all in all, we are doing well, keeping up with everything that we gotta keep up with, so. Anyone have any questions?
All right,
All right, I appreciate it.
thank you. Chief Davis,
It's
We-
been very busy, very busy. I'm saying it's the hot weather, we've seen a uprise in respiratory trouble among the residents in the city. Say it every time that I talk, please check on your neighbors. You know, if their normal activity isn't there, you know, if you don't feel comfortable going over and checking, call Mike. Or, you know, Wes, whoever, and they will go check. You know, we don't wanna have someone pass away and then not be taken care of. Especially in the hot weather that we're having. We did have an incident after the parade. Tuesday night, we had one of our people fly out of the Ranger. Throwing out goodies to the kids. Fell out, busted their head. We did send them to the hospital for precautionary measures. Everything come back negative. He did end up with 3 staples.
ouch.
But like I say, everything come back negative. So we were thankful for that. You know, the main thing is check on your neighbor. I can't stress that enough.
Okay,
Any questions?
thank you, sir.
Well,
All right, Scott, we got a good thing going here. You want to say something about the park?
Sure, why not?
All right.
Do I need to get up the microphone?
Well, you don't have to. We can hear you great, I believe. I hope people in television land can.
We are in the midst of our July strength. I mean, we are hopping in every day. You may drive by and you may see somebody, you may not see somebody, but rest assured, we've got people on the park. We have been very busy. It's nice to see the busyness. We're probably 30 to 40% above COVID rate, which is really nice and just getting busier. You do realize the next April 8th is eclipse day, right? You know, from the 2024 eclipse, we're gonna be at 98% or better here, so we're getting phone calls from them constantly. Of course, we have projects going on in the park. You'll see a lot of well, maybe you won't see some of the construction because it's sewer reclamation. We're probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the way done with the sewer reclamation on the park. That's a multi-million-dollar project, which you'll never see.
What percent? What percent did you just say?
If it don't work.
What percent?
We're about 3/4 of
Oh, okay.
this part of the project done.
All right.
We did close down the campground starting today. It is closed for, maybe the rest of the season, depends on how fast. We're actually ahead of schedule, so we may be opening it back up for Labor Day. We had to close down because of the new sewer system, as well as some other projects that are going on down there. So that's a little radical, yes. What else is going on? I mean, how was the meal?
It was too late by the time I talked to you, they were already gone.
Oh, well, see how you are.
All right, what can we do?
They're not too long ago.
Yeah, good meal. We do breakfast 7 days a week. We do lunch and dinner on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we do lunch on Sunday. So if you want that traditional Sunday lunch after church, you gotta come by. We do that every time, but other than that, we're just busy. Hey, you looking for a job? Now, I'm sitting here looking at you
This
guys.
is
and you're going,
the
"Yeah, I'm not
commercials.
looking for a
This
job."
is the commercial spot of our television broadcast.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna advertise it. We need help. We need help. We've got people coming. They're enjoying the community, but we've got to take care of them too. Advertise. My heart beats to it. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Here's the kicker. And that is, we're finding out that our average age of employee is actually getting higher right now.
Not the least of which some of our merit employees are getting close to retirement, so they're of that age. But we're actually hiring part-timers. So if you need a weekend job, you want to work a few hours in the evening, and you know what, we got a job for you,
Okay,
you know, and we can use you. Hey, I'm employing my 78-year-old father-in-law here in another week or two, so you know. Everybody can
it's a
do
pretty rough ticket at Thanksgiving at Scott's house, I tell you. It's a pretty rough ticket to qualify for. All right.
Come on, you're not sitting in a cubicle all day.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, those of you that sit in cubicles, we don't sit in cubicles.
Yeah.
That's beer bag.
We're back. Excuse me, coming up, yes, ma'am. Coming up, the beer bash, well, it's not ours, that's actually Kentucky Lake CBB, but it is.
At the park.
Yes, yep, that's coming up, of course, Labor Day weekend and everything else.
All right.
Put your boat in the lake.
Keep it there. Okay. So we're just at the time of the day that we go around the table and see if anybody's got any concerns. Nita's not got anything? Nope. Nita's Kevin? Chris?
I'm good.
Ralph?
Not a question, but you're at your year end and financials look good to me. All the major items were over budget or
They were.
in the case of expenses, less than budgets.
Things falling,
Okay.
drifting in the right directions. Ms. Tenera,
Sounds good to hear.
congratulations on your awards.
Thank you. Too much fun. I don't know if I can ask these, well, one, John's not here. But it signs for Calvert City Elementary, about it not being a dog park.
The dogs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you can update us, because I don't know what's been said, but Mr. Greenfield, his property, I didn't know if you all had worked something out, and I don't know that you.
No,
You were
we
there,
haven't.
okay.
We haven't worked anything out yet. I've talked to him. I understand some of the situation. What I don't understand is what he wants us to do for him. Exactly.
Okay. Okay, that's what.
All right.
That's all.
All right. Okay. That wraps it up. Ben's over here just busily writing away.
Everybody's
She's-
talking.
All right.
I don't make a motion to adjourn if we ain't got no other.
Got a motion to adjourn on the floor? All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're done.
Opposed.
Everybody's so tired.
We get stuck in a do.
I don't think I've ever been so tired.
You said something a while ago. And